Welcome back to your Let's Talk office hours. Today truly is a celebration as we have officially released our new generative AI chatbot, and I cannot wait to tell you all about it and to help you get it launched. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Sharon. I'm a Senior Client Success Manager here at K-12 Insights, and I will be guiding us through today's session. With me today, I have some new faces from our product team who will be monitoring our chat. First, I have Lynn. Lynn is our Senior Director of Product Operations. She has been with the company for over 8 years, so she knows this product in and out. She helps spearhead getting new products like Form Builder, the updated Topics Manager, and that ever-anticipated email replies into your platform. I also have with me Frank, our Senior Manager of AI Engineering. Frank spent time in the classroom before making the transition into EdTech, where he now oversees the entire cycle of AI feature development from concept to deployment. So these are our experts in all things Let's Talk and AI. So as questions come up, please pop them into the chat. This is new territory for a lot of us, so don't be shy. If you're thinking it, chances are someone else on here is too, so go ahead and ask. I want you to walk away feeling like you have all your questions answered and are feeling confident and ready to use this amazing tool. So as always, I want to welcome us back with a poll. First, I want to know, have you ever used a generative AI chatbot? If you're not quite sure what that is, I'm going to tell you in a second. This can be anything like, other one, Kalila, sorry. This will be anything like the ChatGPT, maybe you've used Claude in the past, or maybe like me, you logged into your Facebook or Instagram over the weekend and you saw that there was this new AI in your search bar. You found it a little annoying. I was trying to get rid of it and I couldn't figure it out. So have you ever used generative AI? There we go. Anything like this. We have, all right, results are coming in. This is great. Most of you are saying yes. Some of you are like, maybe, which fair. We're going to kind of dive into what it is. And some of you are saying no, which is great. We're going to get kind of your first experiences with us today. So today we're going to be going deep into the chatbot world. We're going to start with what even is generative AI and what makes our chatbot different from a ChatGPT or other chatbot companies. We're going to share how this is different from our previous chatbot and show you a demo from our model community school district so you can see what this is like. Then we'll be spending a bulk of our time setting this chatbot up. I anticipate our content today will take about 30 minutes. And then at the end, we're going to have time to troubleshoot, answer questions, and give you time back to continue to set this up. We blocked the hour to give you that dedicated time to work on this. So at the end of today, you can turn on your chatbot and let it start doing the work for you. So let's go ahead and dive in. Did you know that 70% of your inbound inquiries are repeat questions? 70. I bet honestly a lot of you are like, yes, I did know this from answering those same questions that you see day in and day out. Well, now chatbots can reliably and accurately answer about 80% of those repeat questions. So let's go ahead and let them do that. Let's take something off our plate. So what even is generative AI? This is a term that's been kind of out there in the zeitgeist for a little bit over a year since ChatGPT kind of blew up and became popular. So what even is it? In layman's terms, generative AI is an artificial intelligence system that can generate new original content based on what it has been exposed to. Emphasis here on what it's been exposed to. So you may be thinking of stories you've heard of ChatGPT giving incorrect information because it was pulling from the World Wide Web. That's not going to happen here. Something that's different about our chatbot is that we have placed limitations on it so it will not hallucinate or make up any information because it can only answer questions with the information that's been provided by your district. We've also given it the ability to quickly scan multiple sources to assemble the accurate answer. And then on top of that, the chatbot's even going to cite the source of where this answer came from. So that's going to give your customers confidence that they're receiving accurate and helpful information. On top of that, you can rest assured that K-12 Insight is always committed to responsible, ethical, and highly secure AI. So we are never going to be publicly sharing your data or your information. We have a third-party zero retention data policy, which means we will only retain the data of the chat within the Let's Talk platform, and that will never be shared with third parties like OpenAI. Last, we're the only generative AI chatbot designed specifically for K-12. I know some of you have been approached by other chatbot companies, but ours is the only one that's only backed by a team of AI experts, but also K-12 experts. Our data science team, spearheaded by Frank, has been using AI to offer innovative solutions in Let's Talk. We've also partnered with the University of Chicago and utilized the best tools like OpenAI to automate and optimize your tech stack. So when you're using this Let's Talk assistant, you can feel confident knowing that you're using a product that was built specifically for you in mind. This is not something that was originally designed for banking or insurance and then tweaked to fit education. I think it's also worth mentioning here that there's no additional cost for you to use this chatbot. So at the end of today's session, I'm not going to ask you to quote unquote sign up today. This is built into our partnership and will continue to be free for any district that launches the chatbot before the end of 2024. So let's go ahead and launch another poll. I'm curious to know, of all of you who are here, how many of you have used our previous Let's Talk assistant? Kind of just wanting to gauge, are these past users? No, is this brand new? Maybe it was something that you wanted to do, but just didn't really have the capacity at that time to go ahead and set it up. Okay, so we're kind of swaying now, little bit. All right, it looks like actually majority of us were not previous chatbot users. So that's great. I'm going to go ahead and share with you kind of what was previously going on. And for those of you that were, since we're about a 50-50 split, you'll get to know how this is going to be different. So our old chatbot was set up in 3 different phases. You would manually create FAQs for the chatbot to look, and it was all centered around those questions and answers. So when I would go in and ask a question, it would try to find correlating words or phrases from an existing FAQ. Sometimes it would give you the wrong answer based on the context, or it would even know the answer, but it might miss it if different words or phrases were used that weren't quite optimized yet. Or maybe there was a spelling mistake, something that I am guilty of, that it couldn't understand. It also had no memory. So if you asked a question, it gave you an answer. And if you tried to ask a follow-up question without referencing that original topic, it didn't understand. For those of you who had optimized, you would see that in your table almost daily. Which brings me to that last piece, the everyday management of the chatbot. System admins were in there looking at questions, adding them to their FAQ bank, approving alternative phrasing. It could become a little bit of lift for those system admins. But now, with the new generative AI Let's Talk Assistant, you still have the option to go in and add FAQs, but now you can add all sorts of resources for your chatbot to look through and to give an answer. It no longer has to be specific questions and answers like it was before. It can be articles, handbooks, web pages, materials that you use and direct folks to on a daily basis. This makes setup so much easier, which we're going to get to here in a second. Now, when it comes to the usage, it will now look at all the different types of prompts and find answers in your bank of resources to provide comprehensive answers. Also, when it has the answer, it's going to tell you where it found it. Again, building that trust with your customer base. On top of that, it will remember the previous answer and use that to provide context to the next question, which we're going to see here in a second. Now, as for the management, we're going to pull the focus away from those individual questions that you're in there optimizing, and soon we're going to be looking at this from a higher level and identifying trends and gaps where we can easily be going through every resource before we now no longer have to do that. So let's go ahead and see this in real time. I'm going to pop into our model community school district. This is our fake school district. Some of y'all have seen this before in demos. As before, we have this tab, which you're going to see down here. Ours is in the bottom right-hand corner. But I've also heard from districts, I don't really want to use this tab. What else are my options? So I do also want to show you that we now have this fab option. Here I am with Glendora Unified out in California. Down here in the bottom right-hand corner, you're seeing this little circle. This is our fab option. You've also seen this in Chatsy when you've logged into your Let's Talk account. If you're worried about using real estate on your page with that tab, this is going to be a great option for you. Let's go ahead and hop back into MCSD. So let's go ahead and pull this open. As I've said before, the chatbot can now answer a broader range of questions with different kinds of phrasings or a single word. Our interaction is going to be more conversational and friendly. And the nice thing is it's going to answer me in an 8th grade reading level. The great thing about this is that you can be loading dense documents like a handbook, HR policy, benefits, etc. The chatbot will be able to find the answer, digest the materials, and give you an answer back in a more user-friendly jargon. So let's go ahead and see this in action. I'm going to say that I'm a parent guardian, and I'm going to ask what sports are available. And I'm going to keep that typo in there for middle school boys, because I want to see, is it going to know what I'm asking? Now you can see that it is streaming the response as it's giving me this. It's going to let me know that the sports available for middle school boys in this district include these. And down here, it's even cited where this information came from. Now, speaking of that historical knowledge, I'm going to ask now, what about for high school girls? If I had asked that in no context, it wouldn't know what I was talking about. But since I just asked about sports, it's going to remember that. And it's going to give me that answer back, saying the sports available for high school girls are these sports. Again, citing where this came from. Now, as I said, this is only pulling in from information that you have given it. So if I go in and ask, what is the new Taylor Swift album called? Unless your district has gone in and loaded this, it's going to let me know, you know what? I don't actually quite know the answer to this. Here's maybe some other places that you could start to find this information and direct me to some different locations. It's thinking about this very heavily, and we will see. Maybe somebody went in a model community school district and loaded this answer, so it's trying to find it. Now, while this is going, the other great thing that I want to mention is we now have this available in Spanish. Well, it was available in Spanish before, but it's taken a lot of the lift off of you. Since this is thinking, I'm going to go ahead and close this out because I do want to show you this translation piece. So I'm going to open this back up. Now, as always, up in my left-hand corner of the chat, I have that universal image for translations. I can always toggle this on to Spanish, which is going to give me everything in Spanish. However, let's say I miss this and I just log in and I go ahead and ask, well, it's not liking me clicking around. All right, I'm going to go ahead and ask a new question. And let's go ahead and put my message here. Here I have it in Spanish, haven't changed anything, and I'm curious to know if it's going to know that. And it does. It's going ahead. I asked, where is my district office? It's giving me that information and giving me that response back in Spanish. Currently, Spanish is the other option that we're offering inside the platform. However, more languages are going to be coming soon. All right, so let's go ahead and actually pop into our Let's Talk accounts and see this in action. So for us today, go ahead and head into your settings. For those of you that have been here with me before, you are familiar with my Newfoundland School District. Here we are, I am in my Sandbox account. Now there's a few things that have been added inside of your settings that you might not have seen before. Over here on the left-hand side, as I scroll down, I have my personal settings, my account setup, and my communication. At the bottom of communication is my resource center. This is where we're going to be spending our time first. However, I also want to point out, if you continue down, it's probably caught your eye with this red, that you're now seeing the Let's Talk Assistant and the Live Agent. We will come to both of those, but for right now, we're going to pop into our resource center. So again, if you're following along with me, I was under my settings, under communication, and now I'm going to go ahead and open my resource center. So here is our resource center. This is where you will manage the resources that are going to power your Let's Talk Assistant. If you were previously a knowledge base user, this is going to look familiar to you, as this is where you were managing those resources. The knowledge base has not gone away, and you're still able to grab and embed those by clicking the Share Resource Center right here. However, when you go to share that, that will only apply to articles, which you'll see in a second. Now, we had a few people reach out to us yesterday that said, where have my FAQs gone? They are not gone. They are now housed here under your Resource Center. So over right next to, on the top, you see those FAQs. I'm going to go ahead and click on here. Now, since we're about split on where we are with users, let's go ahead and do a quick rundown of this FAQ section. Now, if I wanted to add another section or add some FAQs, right here I have this add section right here. Now, by adding a section, it allows me to divide my FAQs by things like department, seasonality of questions like back to school, or even school location. I'm going to go ahead and just add in graduation 2024. If I go ahead and click, it's going to see that my changes have been saved. I'm going to go ahead and click on graduation 2024, and here I can add an FAQ. I can ask, when will graduation be? And then I can say that, you know what, graduation is going to be held on Sunday, June 1st at our Red Rocks Amphitheater. If you would like to add in alternative phrases, you can, something like graduation commencement ceremony, but this is not as crucial as it was in the past. I'm going to go ahead and save that. Now you'll see under my section of graduation, my FAQs that I've added into there. If I'd like to assign a topic, I could. So if any question were to come in that couldn't be answered by the assistant and it was turned into a dialogue, it would then be assigned to those team owners that are part of that topic. Now, you also heard me mention that seasonality of this. So if I'd like, once graduation is over, I can go ahead and toggle that off. So that section is now no longer available. Now, while the FAQs are there to help, the most powerful way to use your chatbot is going to be through adding your other resources. So let's head back into our resource center so we can actually see this come to life. Now, my internet has been a little wonky today, so I'm going to give it a refresh. Now, let's go ahead and close this out. And let's see, for us to be able, thank you all for your patience as this goes. I'm sorry for it thinking this through. Let's see if it will. Let me. Okay. All right, so Lynn, I might ask you to share. Well, let's see one more time. Let's see if we can get this to go. All right. Okay, we might be back in action. Let's head into my settings, back to my resource center. Here we are. Thank you all for your patience. All right. Now, to be able to start adding resources, I have to add a section, just like I did with my FAQs. So your screen probably looks a lot like mine. You can see this add section. However, this add resource, you can't be doing it. It's even going to let me know, hey, first you have to add a new section for us to even access this. So let's go ahead and do this. I know I'm going to be adding some HR documents. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, once that has been added, you can now see that it's come to life with this add resource. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And now I have 3 different options on adding a resource. So creating an article would be creating a knowledge base article. In this option, you can manually add texts, images, or even videos. You can choose to make this a draft until you're ready to publish. You can make this only visible to your internal knowledge base, your Let's Talk users, or you can choose if you want to add it to your Let's Talk assistant. But the thing we're most excited about is the option to upload documents and to scan web pages. By doing this, you're able to use existing resources that you have already have on your website or housed internally. This is a way to easily provide comprehensive information for the assistant to use. So something to mention when you see this is you're seeing this say scan web page, meaning that this will scan an individual web page. So you cannot enter the homepage of your district and expect this to then scan everything under that domain. Something else to note is this will not scan links that might be housed in that web page. So for example, if you have a web page that says, click here to see XYZ, the assistant will not go on to scan the XYZ. You will need to add that as another document or web page for it to be picked up. Currently, this is a one-time scan. It's not a live version. It's a snapshot of when you last scanned it. So if you know you've done any sort of website update or document update, you're going to want to come in and rescan or refresh the information, which I'll show you in a second. Over here, we have our upload documents, and the documents that can be uploaded are a Word document, a PDF, or an Excel document. So let's go ahead and add some in together. If you're ready to add, the place that I always get tripped up is I'm just so excited to add something, I go to click and I can't. You'll need to make sure that you first assign the section. So here I have my human resources. Let's go ahead and click on that. And the first thing I'm going to do is upload a document. So for those of you that had come with documents or websites that you are ready, I'm going to go ahead and do document first. Here I'm going to browse my files, and I can in here select what I'd like to add. Let's go ahead. I'm going to add my calendar and my employee handbook. Now, as this is being uploaded, you can see this going live across my screen and quickly turn to green saying, yep, we are ready to go. Let's go ahead and add these. Down in my bottom right-hand corner, I have my continue option. Let's go ahead and click that. And it's going to bring me to this page. Now with the name, I highly recommend giving this something that is distinguishable for you to know what it is that you've loaded, especially if your files aren't nicely named. Like these are already named calendar and employee handbook. But if this has dates and numbers and everything associated with it, make sure you're saying what it is. Employee handbook. So then it's easy for you to reference, which you'll see in a second. Just like with those FAQs, and I can assign a topic if I would like for these to be going to a specific location if a dialogue is asked. If your district utilizes tags, you can go ahead and add those here. And then you also have the option to assign a manager. I'm going to go ahead and assign Buster, Bluth, and Gus to this one, and I'll assign myself to this one. Now, assigning a manager gives that user the responsibility of keeping that resource updated. So they'll be able to come in and refresh it if there has been a change to it at all. I recommend doing this for all your system admins to just help others, one, have a new responsibility and gain usage inside Let's Talk, but two, help take something off of your plate. I'm going to go ahead and continue, and this will now add this into that section that I had created before. So here we have HR. I can see that this is processing and it's adding this to my appropriate section. Behind the scenes, you can see who was assigned to this. Here we go, as those team members, those team managers to help me support these. So I can see that Buster and Gus are both here with my calendar, and I'm here to support that employee handbook. You can see in these bold letters what I had named this. This is why you don't want to just name it document 1, document 2, because down here I can see what that PDF is. But again, if I don't have a distinguishable name, it's going to be tough for me to track that. Let's go ahead and add now some web pages. So again, I'm going to select the section and scan this. I'm going to go ahead and pull my web page, enter it in there, and just like with our documents, we're seeing it scan. I'm going to do another one, but this time I'm going to see if I can add an extra. See if I can get it to tell me it won't upload. There we go. Okay, so with this, it's saying it cannot scan. What I purposely did in this to show you that is I added an extra space at the end. If I go ahead and just clean that up, it then should do a rescan. Yep, and now I'm good to go. You can add multiple web pages at once, just like you saw me do with those documents. I recommend keeping it to about 5 to 10 at a time, just so that it's easy management to be uploading. I'm going to go ahead and click continue. Just like before, we want to go ahead and give this a nice name so I can know what the web page is, especially if I need to update licensing. I can assign my topics if I want. And again, my manager will let Gus help us with that one. Let's go ahead and click continue. And now I can see that this is being added under my HR section again. There we go. Now I can see down below under licensing, I can see here is the website that this pulled from. That's how I know that this was a website versus a document, which up here I'm seeing that PDF. And now let's say that Gus knows that we've recently updated our model community school HR page and he needs to come in and rescan this. He would just come in, find that article, and right here on this top right-hand side, I can see this rescan button. If I go ahead and click this, it's going to say, hey, what was that address that you wanted to rescan? Are you sure you want to do this? Yes, and I can update that right there. When it comes to those documents, if you need a refresher on what was the calendar, this one, it would have been great for me to reference what school year it was. I can always download to see what that document is, or I can also choose to easily replace it right here if I know that this needs an update. As a hot tip, I have heard from some of our early adopters that entering a handbook is going to take your chatbot leaps and bounds ahead. It's going to help you immediately answer more questions, as it's such a dense document that houses most of those repeat questions that we see. So I always recommend starting there, as this is a quick and easy way to get it up to date. So something I want to touch on is the translations in the Let's Talk Assistant. Like you saw before, translations will automatically happen. You no longer need to go in and be translating every single FAQ. However, there is one place where you're going to need to translate, and those are your default scripts. So I'm going to head back to my left-hand side and scroll down to my channels. Now we're going to be hopping into that Let's Talk Assistant that you saw me highlight before. So again, back in my left-hand panel of the settings, under my channel, I have that Let's Talk Assistant. Let's go ahead and do that. If you're looking at this and you don't see that option of English and Spanish, go ahead and you're going to want to enable Spanish up here in the top right-hand corner. Go ahead and click yes. Now, once I go ahead and toggle over to Spanish, it will automatically update and let you know here are the translations of, these are your standard scripts of what we saw. How can I help you today? Thank you for letting me help. If you need assistance, go here, or sorry, I couldn't find that answer. I can go ahead and save right here, and it will go ahead and update those for me. I recommend just taking a few seconds, come in, give these a scan before you go ahead and launch, just to make sure that these are all up to date. Now, the other piece I want to chat about is your optimization table. Now, mine inside my assistant, it was right next to there. I haven't actually asked any questions since I haven't launched this quite yet, since we're working on it. So nothing's come to life. So let's go ahead and see what I was talking about. This optimization table is no longer critical like it was in the past. This is going to be evolving in the future. But if you want to come in and just kind of see what kind of questions your district is getting and monitor those, you can do those here. You do still have the option to mark these as spam, delete them, or if you're like, gosh, that would be a great one to add to my FAQs. I actually don't have a document to support this. You can still do that right in here. I also want to touch on your dashboard. So again, because I haven't asked any questions for mine, I'm going to show you where I find this, and we'll pop over to that slide. So just like when we're accessing our data, click that bar graph right under your Let's Talk logo. You have your usual dashboard that you're used to looking at, and now you'll see that there's been added the LT Assistant report. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And in here, let's go back to this so you can see it come to life. This is where you can just get a high-level overview of trends that you're seeing inside here. Now, this is going to be we're going to be doing some updates to this to better understand the thematic trends that are coming through, but this is just a good way to get a pulse on how many questions are being asked, how many sessions are being started. That's a great way to know, are people asking multiple questions when they're coming in? Where are we kind of at with that? I would say use your best judgment when looking at the helpful and unhelpful. A lot of times with the unhelpful, people will rate that because they didn't necessarily like the answer. It's not that it was wrong. Now, once this comes to life for you, you can double click on any of these and it will take you a little bit deeper. As you scroll down that page, you will also see down below an engagement report. So this is going to be really fun to see come to life as your chatbot gets launched. A lot of districts will do soft launch, let people just organically stumble upon it for the first 5 to 7 days, and then do a big marketing push behind the scenes to see this come to life. So this is a great way to see that. The last piece that I said I was going to mention, we're not going to dive deep into it today, is your live agent. Now, you do have the option to have a human behind the scenes who is available to help answer those questions that might come up through your chatbot. If this is something that you're interested in, please reach out to your CSM. They'll be able to share more information and to help get you started with that. All right, so now you've got this all lined up. We're almost at the end, and you might be wondering, how do I turn this thing on? So once you're ready to go, we're over on our left-hand side again. We have our form set up. We have our landing page tab editor. As system admins, we've been here before. We know it. We love it. Go ahead and find your tab or your landing page that your tab is associated with. And now under my page settings on the right-hand corner, we have Enable Let's Talk Assistant. All you need to do is go ahead and toggle that on when you're ready to go and click Save. There is no need to re-embed your tab. This is one simple click for you to do this. Go ahead back to your district page, give it a refresh. Your page will need to be refreshed, and then it should be live there for you. If you have any questions, always you can reach out to our client care team or to your dedicated CSM. So I know we covered a lot. This is really exciting stuff for us. I have one last poll of the day before we wrap and you're able to go back and get this going. My last question is, when are you planning to launch this? You came to this webinar, our office hours, you're hopefully excited about it. Is this something that you're wanting? Maybe you already have launched it. Maybe you're like, you know what? I'm going to go back and I'm going to launch this today. Maybe I'm going to do it this month. Maybe I'm not really planning on doing it anytime soon. Summertime, this is a great project for those to be working on. Love seeing, we'll get to see these results, but a lot of you, 33%, oh, we're kind of skewing now. A lot of you have already done this. Some of you are planning to do it today. Some of you are going to do it this month. This is going to be a great summer project. This is fantastic. A lot of you will be working on this. Awesome. Well, with those tips, tricks, you should be able to get your assistant off and running and getting this working for you. We're going to go ahead and stay on for just a few more minutes. If anybody needs help or has additional questions, maybe there's a troubleshooting issue that you've run into. But I want to go ahead and say, don't miss our next office hours. We're going to actually be chatting with a few school districts. We're going to be chatting with Isaac School District number 5 and Eagle Mountain Saginaw Independent School District to learn how they have leveraged K-12 Insight to take their customer service to the next level, utilizing our other services and research solutions. So if you are heading into strategic planning, maybe you have a bond initiative coming up, maybe you want to get a general pulse of how your district is doing, or you're feeling ready to level up your customer service game, this is going to be a great one and a fun conversation to see. So thank you all so much for joining. I see we have some questions already coming in. If you don't have any, feel free to drop off. I hope that you're excited to get these chatbots up and running to provide an even better support for your customers. So go ahead again, if you have questions, please stay on, we'll help you out. If not, use this remaining time to get those documents added and that chatbot launched. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Sharon. And excuse me, we have one hand raised from Chanel.
Perfect, Chanel, yes. Let me see. Oh, looks like I got 2. Okay, let's see. Chanel, I'm gonna allow you to talk. I've never done this before. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, sorry.
No, this is great.
Hello. I see a question in my Let's Talk and assistant optimization. I didn't notice that till you went to the screen, but it says that I have an unread question. Is that a question that was posed in the chat that we didn't have an answer to?
Lynn, do you know why that would be saying unread? I'm going to see if we can get our expert.
Sorry, I started talking on mute. So unread,
I noticed your box was empty, so that's why I had the question.
Yeah, unread is kind of a holdover feature from when we initially launched the Let's Talk Assistant, where you really needed to spend some time in that optimization to mark things as good answers or bad answers or redirect. So we're in the process of getting rid of that unread functionality, but it does default to filter for anything that you haven't looked at in the past.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes, the question just looked like a question I I'm not familiar with. So, but I'll double check that.
Okay.
I'll follow
Perfect.
up with that one. Thank you.
Chanel, of course, if you have any questions after, definitely reach out to your CSM. We'll make sure we get it. Yeah, of
Okay,
course. Thank you. Great question. All right, Kimberly Richardson, I'm going to go ahead and now give you the power to talking permitted.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kimberly Richardson. I'm out of Wake County Public School System. This system, I don't see the bot. And I'm probably not that high up in the totem pole, but I do a lot of work like gathering information for each of our personnel as far as how many communications they get through Let's Talk, each month. My question is, I know you're saying go into our administrator that's high up to get that possibility, but then I guess I don't know how high up we have capabilities in our system. So the other question is, can I still put in forms and other things of that nature? Because I've been playing with it, looking at different things. But my question, can I still put in forms or small links that parents can go to access and view things should I be out of the office, and how does that actually work?
So are you, you're meaning like, tell me a little bit more of what you mean by like forms if you're out of the office.
For example, somebody may ask, I don't see the North Carolina Health Assessment form.
Yep.
So could I have that in my links or forms that are saved here and they have access to it?
Yes. So if I were to go in and ask, like, where's this assessment form? Could you add that into your Let's Talk assistant? I think what I'm hearing you say is, could I add a form that's maybe not associated with my school district?
Yes, it is. It is
Yes.
associated.
Okay. Yes, you can.
Okay. Now, if I don't have the assistant, could I still do it?
So I think, Kimberly, it looks like you're a team member in Let's Talk. So right now, the only people who can add resources are system administrators. They could add something originally and then give you manager rights, which means you could update it if needed and replace it. We are looking to expand who has access to add resources in the future. So likely very soon, you would be able to do that. But right now it is the system administrator in your district who can add the resources. So yeah, good question.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to know what my capabilities were.
Yes, thank you. And thank you, Lynn, for helping us get there. Help me log into your account. Yes, thank you, Kimberly. All right, Hannah, I think you were next. I'm going to go ahead and allow you to talk and to come off mute.
Thank you so much. And you may have covered this. I just want to make sure I'm understanding clearly. So with our FAQs, when I'm testing our little chat bot, those FAQs, the information we previously had is not populating. Is that, should that have happened? Or, so I'm with the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. So if I ask a question about certification, it's now saying, sorry, I couldn't find an answer for you right now. How would you like to continue? So all of the FAQs we've had, those are no longer showing up.
Hi, Hannah. Thank you for your question.
Mhm.
The FAQs should show up. We've had a couple of customers who have had some of those not migrate effectively. So we're
Okay.
right this minute working through that, and they should be back in your account very soon. So
Okay.
thank you for raising the question, and we'll follow up to confirm that they're functioning as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, great question. And thank you for raising that, Hannah, especially if somebody else is experiencing that. That's really helpful. So thank you.
No problem.
All right, now Zachary, I'm gonna bring you off to ask
Hey
your
there.
question.
Thank
Hi.
you. Number one.
Yeah.
Number two, I was just curious. I know you spoke about this, but I may have missed what you had said. But basically, after we add a section and then add resources to that section for the chatbot, what's the significance of tying a topic to that particular resource? How does that come into play?
Yeah, so if the chatbot were to not be able to answer and it needs to be redirected and turned into a dialogue, then it can go to a specific team depending on the context of which that question was asked with the chatbot. If there is no topic assigned, it would land in the system admin's inbox to then be reassigned.
Okay, thank you.
And to add on to that, there's a few things you're seeing in there where we're tagging the resources that are building blocks to future features. So that's one of those where we hope to have some additional functions that go along with those tags in the near future. So we're just letting you do the work early so you don't have to go back and do it to take advantage of those features once they go live.
Got it. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Any other burning questions out there? Now is a great time, especially because we have Lynn with us to answer some of these. It looks like the chat had a lot that came through, which is great. Anna,
I want to answer this. Yeah, Anna.
Yes.
Anna or Anna's question. AI is great. And Frank, our data scientist, has tested so many district calendars to make sure that our chatbot can read that document effectively. So we struggled through it in the early stages, but we really work to make sure that that document is easily accessible by the AI.
Perfect. Thank you. Any other ones? I see Q&A might have some, but for some reason mine is not opening.
So
Right,
Sharon, the first Q&A question says, is there a way to test the chatbot without the public being able to see it?
Lynn, I think not currently.
Yeah, so the best way that we can do this is just to add the chatbot to a test landing page or tab. So create a non-public version and you'll be able to test it. You can get a link that you could share with colleagues internally, which we always recommend. You pass it around, have people ask questions, see which ones it can answer, and add some additional resources. So our support team or your client success manager would be happy to walk you through creating that test page.
Perfect.
Thank you, Lynn. The other question says, if it gets added to a dialogue, what information is pre-populated on the dialogue? Will the first and last name and contact information be displayed?
Yeah, Sharon, are you able to share your the MCSD tab real quick? I think this will be the easiest way to answer that question. So if someone doesn't need to follow up, the chatbot interaction still gets logged in Let's Talk as a dialogue, but the only information we have is that customer type information if they've selected it. So this one would be parent or guardian. If they choose that they need additional support, they want to submit an email, you can click to that email option, Sharon, and if they've already selected their customer type, that'll be selected, and they'll just go through the process of submitting a dialogue form, in which case you'll get all of the standard information that's required. And I think, Anna, your question about AI's ability to handle parents who have legitimate concerns. Again, our chatbot's really only going to answer questions that it has in its knowledge base, and it's always going to have that email option available. It's also, if someone thumbs down a response, they're going to get an option to either chat with a live agent if you have that option available, or submit as email or ask another question. And the goal there, get them to submit as email so it gets directed to the right team member. Wanted to add also that your critical alerts will continue to operate with chatbot interactions. So if it does contain any of your critical keywords, your critical alert teams will be flagged of these chatbot interactions as well.
That's great. Thank you. I was trying to show it. The internet in Montana today is not liking me. So thank you. What other questions are out there? Okay. Here we go. That went ahead and pulled up. So here you saw that I chose, that's actually not what I was looking for. There's that live chat option, which Lynn mentioned. Here's my option to submit as an email, which would turn this into a dialogue, or to go ahead and ask a new question. So came through right in the nick of time. All right, everyone. Well, thank you to those of you who hung on for Q&A. If there are additional questions, if we hang up and you're like, oh gosh, I meant to ask this, you can always reach out to your CSM. You can also reach our client care team through that question mark in your account found right next to your name, and they'll be able to help you there. Yes, Zachary, great point. Recording will be sent out tomorrow. We'll try to get it out in the early morning so you can be getting to work and using it ASAP. Thank you, everyone. Again, I'm so excited for you to be using this feature. As always, reach out with questions. So excited for you to get going. And we look forward to taking your customer service to the next level. Thanks, everyone.